watching a film with friends, missing VHS videotape repeating.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're looking at Taxi Driver Collector's Edition. Martin Scorsese film, Robert De Niro, Jodie Foster. I said Jamie because I just did a video about Halloween 6 and was talking about Jamie Lloyd. So this is a 1999 release from a 1978, 77 movie. I forget what year it was. 1999 is the year of the movie. Can't see what that says. 78 Comic Pictures. It's funny if you go back through some of these older videos, you see me trying to read this font, and I thought it was just because it's printed too small, but then I realized about a year ago that I needed glasses. So, yeah, so it has like a silver foil, which you can kind of see has been scratched up from years and years of being put on shelves and stacked and, you know, just thrown all around. So I think I rented this movie from Video Library, and that's how I saw it for the first time. Probably the mid 1976. Okay, it's older than I thought. 76. Columbia TriStar. I rented it. Obviously, I liked it. You know, it kind of stands out. Obviously, every kid interested in filmmaking goes through a Scorsese phase. Just like you go through your Tarantino phase, you go through your Kubrick phase. So I was going through a Scorsese phase, getting all the classics. You know, Raging Bull, Mean Streets, all this gangster stuff for the most part. Skipping, you know, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore and Kundun or whatever the one is. I like this edition a lot. I remember buying this from Best Buy when it came out. One of the most powerful films. One of the best and most powerful of all films. 4 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture. Special Collector's Edition is digitally remastered and includes a never-before-seen making-of documentary featuring interviews with the creators and stars of the film. Robert De Niro stars with Jodie Foster, Sybil Shepherd, Harvey Keitel, Peter Boyle, and Albert Brooks in the all-too-real story of a psychotic New York cabbie who is driven to violence in an attempt to rescue a teenage prostitute. A landmark of 70s cinema that announced to the world the arrival of director Martin Scorsese, screenwriter Paul Schrader, and star Robert De Niro. So that's a lot of talent in there. Produced by Michael and Juliet Phillips. Paul Schrader, of course, went on to write a lot of great movies. Direct a few great movies as well. So this is one of those ones where it's interesting being a child of the 80s, a teen of the 90s, going back and seeing all these people. Like Sybil Shepherd I knew because of Moonlighting and her own show in the 90s called Sybil. And then Jodie Foster, I'm trying to think in the 90s what I would have known her from. Probably Silence of the Lambs and other stuff. So going back and seeing her when she's like, you know, 12 or 13, whatever. And then Harvey, like young ass Harvey Keitel. De Niro we always know, but even back then he just looks so different. But I like this movie a lot. It's not one I revisit too often, but I'm probably desperately in a desperate need of a rewatch. I'm trying to go back through and watch a bunch of stuff I haven't watched in years. The other thing that's interesting about this collector's edition is that it is pan and scan. It's full frame. You would have thought they would put it out in widescreen, but memory serves, I don't recall if it is. Scorsese is just doing 235 to 1 or 185 to 1 back then. So sometimes if it's a 185 to 1 widescreen, I don't really care. But it's obviously a difference between pan scan and 235. So what's interesting, well, at least to me, is since I have a copy of The Crow sitting right here, is that I saw The Crow before I ever saw this. And I was a big fan of The Crow soundtrack. I remember buying The Crow soundtrack when I was on a RTC field trip to North Carolina and bought it there, of all things. But one of the songs on the soundtrack is a Pantera song, a song called The Badge. And I believe almost all the songs were written specifically for the Crow soundtrack, except for 1 or 2. Like Stone Temple Pilots had to change their song because Brandon Lee died. And then 9 Inch Nails either changed their song or they just did a cover of a Joy Division song. Anyway, The Badge by Pantera starts off with audio from this movie of Travis Bickle shooting the pimp character played by Harvey Keitel. I just saw his face right there. I thought that was a woman. So when I'm sitting there watching this movie for the first time, I hear the line "suck on this," and I can hear a gunshot. And this, oh. My mind automatically thinks of the Pantera song on the Crow soundtrack. So it's interesting to be able to pull that audio bit from this movie. I think out of all the Scorsese stuff, especially the 70s and early 80s stuff, this is one I probably do enjoy quite a bit, but definitely needs a rewatch. Let me know what you guys think. Is it one of your favorites? What stands out to you about it? Peter Boyle, West Virginia Peter Boyle's in it, and Albert Brooks. Bunch of great talent. So like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.